From the heart of Missouri to the stages of major music festivals, she has emerged as a standout artist in today's music scene. Known for her distinct voice and deeply personal lyrics, her journey is one of perseverance, growth, undeniable talent, and proof that it takes 10 years to be an overnight success. Your favorite artist's favorite artist, this is the rise and rise of Chappell Roan. Kaylee Rose Amstutz was born on February 19, 1998 in Willard, Missouri. She describes her childhood as deeply conservative and Christian and was taught that, quote, being gay was bad and a sin in an interview with The Guardian. She began playing the piano at around the age of 10 or 11 and started singing and songwriting by the age of 14 and 15. By November 2014, she uploaded Die Young, which was an original song under the YouTube name Kaylee Rose. This ended up being the most significant song as, quote, a few months later, I was sought out by record labels and 6 months later got signed for 5 years. At this time, Troye Sivan was way ahead of the curve as when Chappell dropped her new single, Troye tweeted about her and I quote, I've had a 16-year-old girl on repeat for 2 months, end quote, and he links her YouTube video Die Young in the tweet. He then replies to his tweet to tag Chappell, and Connor Franta also tweets about this, which leads them to take this iconic photo together.
Troye Sivan and Connor Franta were onto her in 2014, literally like tweeting about and boosting her music. This was Troy's first tweet about her. I've had a 16-year-old girl on repeat for 2 months. You have to listen to this, guys. Go send some love. And it was a YouTube link to Miss Kaylee Rose, which we now know as Chappell Roan's original song Die Young, posted on October 6th, 2014. Troye also responded to himself saying this is her Twitter, let's blow up Kaylee because I haven't heard a voice like that since Adele, no exaggeration. And then Connor Franta tagged her and said, yes, give that vocally blessed goddess her well-deserved promo. Her account gave a shout out to Troye Sivan as well, basically saying like, thank you so much because her video was blowing up because of his shout out.
Chappell then headed to LA to pursue her dreams in 2015, which is near the time of her junior year in high school. On May 8, 2015, Kaylee signs with her music label Atlanta Records and adopts a stage name Chappell Roan in honor of her late grandfather Dennis K. Chappell, who died of brain cancer back in 2016. His favorite song was The Strawberry Roan by Curly Fletcher.
My name is Chappell Roan because of my grandpa Chappell. He passed away last September.
Aside from this, she also expresses her dislike of her own name as, quote, I do wish my name was not Kaylee in real life though, end quote.
Oh my god. This is when I got baptized. This is the day I got baptized.
On August 3, 2017, Chappell released her first single titled Good Hurt, in which Interview magazine describes it as a strong indicator of her imminent popularity. Her pop sound is infused with a dark and unsettling tone, all safeguarding the young artist's mystique. Chappell characterizes her music as a portrayal of emotional authenticity and the unfiltered nature of being. Quote, when I sing, I want people to feel every emotion. I hope they get a better understanding of me as a human being and not just as a singer, end quote. With this, on September 22, 2017, Chappell released her first ever EP titled School Nights through Atlantic Records, which features Die Young and Good Hurt. After this, at 19 years old, Chappell opened for Vance Joyce's 2017 Lay It On Me tour, where she performed her EP School Nights. During this time, Chappell lived with her parents in Springfield, Missouri, flying with them to LA or New York whenever they needed to go for shows or whatnot. However, in 2018, she moved to LA from Springfield and she said, quote, it completely changed my perspective on life. I went to the Abbey in West Hollywood and was so inspired by the energy there. I felt like for the first time I could truly be myself and not be judged, end quote. She credits this experience to what inspires her to make one of her biggest songs to date, Pink Pony Club. In early 2020, Chappell began working with producer-songwriter Dan Nigro, which produced albums such as Sour and later on The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess. With him, on April 2020, she released the song Pink Pony Club, in which the song is about a queer person finding themselves. She explained in an interview that Pink Pony Club came from her wanting to be a go-go dancer in LA, but she wasn't confident enough to do that. She says, quote, but my music also comes from real-life experience, the heaviness of heartbreak and confusion within queerness. Traditionally, if people wanted to label it, I would be bi, but I don't feel like that's it. I would date someone who was non-binary if it was right, so I just say queer, end quote. With this, Chappell released 2 more singles, namely Love Me Anyway and California in May 2020. However, since this was in the peak of the pandemic, Pink Pony Club gained some traction and attention, but not significant enough for Chappell to be a profitable addition to her label, which prompted Atlantic Records to drop her in August of 2020. She says, and I quote, "I burst into tears. As time has gone, I realized that no matter how hard that label experience was for 5 years, it was the biggest blessing ever," end quote. Despite this, however, USA Today ranks Chappell Roan's Pink Pony Club in the 10 best songs of 2020, alongside The Weeknd, Cardi B, and Billie Eilish. In early 2021, due to the success of Olivia Rodrigo's driver's license, Dan Nigro shifted his focus on Olivia from Chappell. At this point, she struggled to find a partner she liked as much as Nigro. Because of this, she spent the next 2 years working in a coffee shop, as a nanny, and as a production assistant just to support herself. It is also at this time she broke up with her boyfriend of 4 years. At her lowest, it seems like there was not much to do with her career until everything turns out for the better. By October of 2021, she moved back to LA to work. She even worked in a donut shop, and I quote, "I worked at the donut shop for most of the time. That was the longest part-time job," end quote. During that time, she earned a publishing deal with Sony, and by March of 2022, she was once again able to work with Dan Nigro to create and release Naked in Manhattan. This was her first release as an independent artist, as she was not under any record label at the time. It was also at this time that Chappell opened for Olivia Rodrigo's Sour Tour and for Carrie Fletcher's Girl of My Dreams Tour. After Dan and Chappell reunited, he gave her a much needed tough love, as stated by Chappell, and I quote, "I was upset about my project not moving. I felt stuck and no one was paying attention to me." Dan goes, "You are going to run your career into the ground if you don't start doing things on your own," end quote. With this, she began building her vibrant pop style. She incorporated hot pink, over-the-top costumes for herself. In August of 2022, she released her second independent single called Femininomenon, which is personally one of my favorite tracks of her latest album. She says, and I quote, "I've been dreaming of releasing a song like this my whole career. It took years to build up the confidence to even sing it in that style," end quote. Chappell released another single titled Casual in October of 2022, which was inspired by a long-distance virtual relationship with someone she met online. However, this person met someone else and told people that the relationship was not serious in the first place. Chappell said, and I quote, "I was talking to a friend that was with them the day that they ended things with me, and they told my friend that it was nothing and it was just casual," end quote. In February of 2023, Chappell embarked on the Naked in North America tour, which is her debut headlining tour.
The whole point of this tour is to give back to the queer community and to create a safe space for everyone to dress up and be silly and dance and know that no one's gonna say anything mean to you. That's the point. Because I feel like I didn't have that growing up, where you couldn't dress up however you wanted to without someone saying something mean.
Throughout her tour, she releases Casual, followed by Kaleidoscope, Red Wine Supernova, and Hot to Go. She announces her highly anticipated debut album, The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess, which was released on September 22, 2023. She says, and I quote, "After 4 years in the making comes my 14-song album holding stories of unearthing my true self and fearlessly embracing queerness. The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess mirrors the roller coaster of being the pop star I always wanted to be," end quote. The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess was included in several best albums of 2023, particularly Time, Nylon, Rolling Stone, Billboard, and Vogue. Chappell opened for Olivia Rodrigo's Guts World Tour in the US and Canada from February to April of 2024. Her streaming catalog saw a 32% bump during the first weekend of the tour, from 941,000 streams to 1.24 million streams in just 1 week. On April 5, 2024, Chappell released her latest single, Good Luck Babe, which she describes as the first song of the next chapter. It garnered 7 million streams in its first week and was listed in the Spotify Top 10 and debuted as number 77 on the Billboard Hot 100. Later in the month, Chappell performed at Coachella, with multiple of her songs being in the daily Top Songs USA chart in Spotify. Her monthly listeners increased more than 500% from February to April, and she continues to grow every day. In June of 2024, Chappell entered the Top 10 on the Billboard 200 for the first time at number 10, with over 40,000 equivalent album units earned. From her early beginnings in Missouri to her breakout moments that captured the attention of a wider audience, Chappell has demonstrated a remarkable ability to connect deeply with listeners through her music. Looking ahead, the future is bright for Chappell. With her recent projects and growing acclaim, there's no doubt that she will continue to push the boundaries and create music that speaks to the heart. Whether you're a longtime fan or just discovering her for the first time, there's something truly special about following an artist who stays true to herself and her vision.
I would loved this giant belt buckle and everything. This girl made fun of me. She said, why do you wear these boots every day? You're not even a cowboy. And I was like, I felt like a fraud. And so I stopped. But this is so slay.